Thanks for your time today, Dan. Really great to have a chat with you today for International Day of People with Disability. Being one of our Connect participants, really excited about this opportunity to have a chat with you and let you share a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, John. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Dan. I guess in 2020 I had a spinal cord injury, and so I went over and jumped on a bicycle and then just landed the wrong way. I didn't see a log in the landing, so got a C4, C5 injury, which means I can't really move below my armpits type level. And my hands don't have a lot of function, but I live in Melbourne and I do a bit of peer support coaching at the rehab hospital. Yeah, I'm just getting by, like doing the best I can with my injury, and I'm trying to be involved in different things. And I also do a bit of painting at home. I can strap a brush to my hand and um, we'll slowly work through some paintings and that.
So with your painting, do you use paints and that kind of medium, or is it digital painting? What do you do with that?
Oh yeah, so like when I was in the rehab, I did a few classes at the as part of the therapy, just trying to get the arm moving. Like when I first did it, I could barely lift my arm, but I did a bit there and did a bit of painting. But since returning home and the last number of years, I've been doing oil painting. I had a few lessons with a professional oil painter in the city and um, learned about the process and the medium. And then it's just a lot of practice at home and watching YouTube videos and doing a lot of bad scratchy paintings. And but I've got support workers who can help me dispense all the paints and help me change all the brushes and that type of thing and set up the canvases. But I can dip my own arm in the paints and then the medium, so spread it on the canvas and end up creating different paintings.
Fantastic. And so with what we do at Intopia, obviously we're very much focused on the digital world. How much of your time do you spend online?
Spend a fair bit of it. I guess there's a few different things I do with it. It's like getting inspiration for paintings or setting up grids on different inspiration photos to kind of reference my paintings. Sometimes it's like just collecting inspiration from different websites and seeing what's out there. But then I use social media to just connect with friends and family and all that thing. And I guess I use it to do like finance stuff, a bit of baking and that type of thing. And because I need a lot of supports and care and equipment and different things, contacting people through that or looking up different things or logging into the NDIS portal to um, work through that type of stuff.
So with your injury, I'm assuming that you don't access or don't necessarily access computers the way other people do using a keyboard and a mouse. Can you talk us through how you do access digital content and what devices and tools that you use?
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I've had this MacBook Pro for 10 years, I think. I've had it since before I did the injury. And then when I was in the hospital, I wanted to be able to use my laptop to even just watch things. Like I was there during COVID, so it was a bit boring. So um, it kind of worked out that the MacBook's got these accessibility features, which essentially it turns the camera from the computer, it turns it on and it can trace where my face is. So now my face can be turned into the computer mouse. And then there's a feature which allows you to turn your facial gestures like a smile or raised eyebrows to like click or double click or do that type of thing. And then um, I mainly use it that way and I've got it set up in my home in a special setup. It kind of works with the environment. I'll also just use the iPhone for when I'm out and about, and it's mounted to like a stick on my wheelchair, so it's always there. I can't just pick up things and grab them or place them or open them or like most people, so I kind of have to have things set up. It's kind of work for me. Yeah, like I don't like to do like typing large amounts of text because you can imagine like using your mouse. So I stick my tongue out for a single click and can imagine typing long emails or that type of thing with the way I use technology. And then voice control is a bit tricky on different phones and things. It's not fully accurate and you've got to really speak up. So it can be frustrating. Yeah.
And so, how do you decide whether a digital product is accessible enough for you to use?
I guess if the task is important enough for me, I'll use it. Or even if I need to get carers to help me use it. I guess if it's not that important, or if it's not working for me, I'll avoid it or I'll use a different site, even like a competitive site. Yeah. And I guess if it works with my technology, I'm happy.
How much difference does it make to your day when things do work? So when you can, with all the technology that you have, everything set up that you can just get in and access things and do things by yourself without having to rely on somebody else around you to do that for you.
Yeah, like I don't want carers and sports to be able to access my finances. So it's like pretty important that I do that stuff myself. For a lot of that, I'll use my phone and I can use it in private. In that example, I can change my bank card pin for the carer to use my bank card with a different pin, and then I can change it back. So it's that privacy thing, and then it's just tiring to explain things to carers. So if I can do it myself, that's a great result. Like just a bit more independent, and yeah.
And so, how does poor digital accessibility affect your independence, dignity, or participation?
I guess in that way it makes me less inclined to participate in things that even people take for granted. Like a major one was like when I used to go to footy, I'd be able to just go online, just see, and then you've got the ticket. But nowadays, look at the call up a hotline. It takes you can be on hold for like 10 to 20 minutes and there's not even get through just to get the space with the wheelchair access. And then once you book space, we're not really sure where you're sitting till you get to the ground. And it's a bit confusing in that regard. You'll get a level, but it's not as easy to understand as on your map that you kind of used to. And then the other examples, like, I went to go wedding suit shopping and I emailed them. I said, "Oh, I'm in a power wheelchair. I can get a suit to cut through the sides of the jacket." And I said, "Yeah, we can do that. We can tailor it that way." And then I got there and then in the power wheelchair, obviously, and then get to the base of the thing. It's got 2 flights of steps up. And they're like, how the hell am I going to get in here? And then they kind of said, "Oh, yeah, we could bring the suits down to you." But by that time, I was like, "Nah, I'm not." Like, I kind of emailed ahead and your website says it's accessible. And it's just really, because you're shopping for a wedding suit, you're kind of excited. Like, you got there, it's just a big hit of disappointment when you can't quite get in there. Even it still said accessible on their website a couple of weeks later on their Google platform. I emailed and said, "You got to take these down. Just let them know about it." And they were nice and they offered to bring stuff over to the cafe across the road. Yeah, it's just a bit misleading and a bit disappointing in that regard. But then I went to another shop and found a great suit that I like, kind of like could roll in with just a small ramp and could roll in. And we're looking good for the wedding next year.
Okay. And I guess, that's one of those things that's, when they try to be helpful and go, "Oh, well, we can bring the suits down to you or bring them to the cafe across the road." I'm assuming you'd have to be trying things on. You don't want to be doing that
Yeah.
exposed out on the street or sitting in a cafe.
Yeah, or I want to know how they could do it before I got there. If they're saying, we understand your situation, we can't do it here for this reason, at least just explain to me and then I can understand, or I can choose not to go. If I do want to take them up on their offer, I can do that. That's great too. But sometimes I will take people up if they're trying.
I guess that's one of the things is time now. Time must be very different for you and the time it takes to do things. Time's precious for everybody, but when you are trying to do things and set aside time to do something and get there and then can't do it, really frustrating.
Even just getting up in the morning takes a few hours still. And, even going to bed can take another hour. So time is like limited now.
Got to make the best of the time that you've got. And you mentioned things like, it makes you tired and it makes it harder. So how does access fatigue show up in your life? that exhaustion that you get from having to redo things or make workarounds or explain and get somebody else to do things or wait and get somebody else to do things like that.
It just gets frustrating after a while. Like, I just want to be able to do things myself. Even when I go to if I want to use my phone to pay for something, I like it when they can bring scan that over towards your phone to like scan a gift voucher, or they can bring the machine over to tap your wallet. Because for me, I've got my phone mounted on a stick, so to get the camera to unplug it, do the thing, pass it across, tap it across, and fix it all back up, it just takes a bit more time, which can be a bit frustrating.
That's a really good point. And that being out in the world rather than, just at home where you've got everything set up. Do you find that there's a gap between the accessibility of the digital world and things that you have to do in the physical world as well? Do you find that there's gaps where if you're at home, everything works fine online, but when you're out and you're in the physical world, those, I guess, transactions and things get broken because of the way things are set up?
Yeah, I think it's just all a bit tricky, and just like with my laptop at home, it kind of has to be set up in the correct ways, the right lining. I can roll into it in my wheelchair and can use it straight away. Even just like getting around shops, it can be hard to purchasing. So if I can do it online or shop online and it gets delivered to my door, it's much easier than going into a shop and kind of doing all that. And even just accessing the shops can be hard. Like if I need to drive a carer or pay for a taxi, or the more I can do at home with like accessible technology is kind of easier to manage than accessing kind of the effort to go places and use your technology, change by pin, pass the phone over, that type of thing. Um, Even going to the post office, like, yeah, well, it's like a 30-minute walk to the post office, and then the one near me is got a big step up, and I kind of need help to get in there, and it just adds a bit of time to get in. And whereas I can't used to just drive there, quickly run in, get it, bring it out, rather than explain it to even my support worker or partner.
So with your post office, can you actually get into the building or is the building inaccessible to you?
I can just, there's a little step, but it's like a bit of a jump. It's a bit unstable, and then it's always better if I have a support worker push from behind, and then it's only a little post office, so it's hard to get around and navigate. It's not like there's open space to turn a wheelchair and that type of thing.
So with that, like obviously, there are a whole bunch of challenges that you have now post accident. What would you like people to know, or what would you like to see done differently that would make the real world and the digital world more accessible for you?
I guess it's getting better with access, like more places have got ramps and different things like that. It's the way I use digital stuff. I kind of, if I'm logged into Google, I use a lot of pre-filled forms, which just saves all the laborious task of filling out content. And then just sites that are easy to use, just like something as simple as because I use my head to point and click, something as simple as having a scroll bar or a mod that's visible and accessible makes a big difference for me. Like, I'm less inclined to use websites that look cool, but you require a physical mouse to scroll. So just anything that makes it kind of like frictionless and easy to use. Kind of things that remember me and integrate, like that link between my phone and computer. Sometimes I'm out and I like having things on like a shared drive where I can access it from my computer or my phone and that type of thing.
And what's a digital task that you avoid because it's too inaccessible or frustrating?
Yeah, definitely filling out forms, or if I'm at my laptop, the voice control's not the most accurate. So I try to avoid writing long emails or creating too much content on my laptop. Like often I'll use my phone. It picks up my voice better and it's just a bit easier to type. And then I can also use my thumb to tap back and delete stuff a bit easier.
What's something that you think might be a misconception about that people have about how you use technology?
Um, um, I think a lot of people I think because you're in a wheelchair, you might not be cognitively all there. I think people don't mean to be rude or come off or treat you differently, but they just not as like. I just want to be treated normal. Any person just speak to me normally, and I'll be happy. And just because I've got a physical disability doesn't mean I'm cognitively not quite there. Yeah. But I understand people just trying to help, and they might not come off in the right way.
Do you think that might come from the fact that a lot of people don't have experience with people with disability, and they're just not sure how to approach someone or how to interact with someone?
Yeah, I think so. It's just like, yeah, people don't understand or you just haven't, I guess they're not thinking about, just the person with the disability, their perspective and how they feel about things. And like, because I've had my injury for a long time, I'm quite open to talk about things, or I don't mind asking a stranger for help in the street, help me put my leg back on my foot plate. But, people don't always know how to react. A lot of people are great though, so it's only a few people. Yeah, most people are pretty good.
I guess that's one of those, I guess, education things. And, one of the reasons why doing these videos to sort of show how people with disability, access the internet, do everyday things like everyone else, and that they want to be treated like everybody else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's nice to be able to access everything and like just stay connected with people. And like I still do the stuff I used to do before, look at sports websites and watch YouTube and get inspiration from different painting videos there. And uh, yeah,
So your interests don't change just because, certain things in your life.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm probably not doing the same career as I used to. Like I used to be a graphic designer, which required a lot of controlled mouse movements and it was like high paced work. Towards the end of it, I was looking into different opportunities for the career anyway. So, um, but I can't physically keep up with doing graphic design in that way. It sounds like it might be changing with a bit of AI anyway. So, um, maybe I can start to use that technology to help in that kind of way. And the things that I might not be able to do with a computer mouse and that skill and that time it takes to, efficiently do that.
So speaking of AI, have you noticed, or has AI had an impact, big or small, on the way you do things at the moment?
Yeah, like definitely writing content. Like I'll write all my dot points and content. Like I'll try and think of the ideas myself, but then I can use AI to extrapolate that into coherent paragraphs. Because if I were to do it myself, I'm not the best grammatically, but it'd still take time to delete a sentence, just formulate it. I don't have those, just hold the delete key and delete a sentence. I have to tap, tap, tap. So it takes a lot of time. So using AI in that way to refine content is pretty helpful, I find. Or even using the right prompts to guide me to where to look for different ideas or different things like that. I've tried a bit of image generation type thing and just imagine a landscape with this and this type of thing to just come up with fresh ideas as well.
What do you think of the way AI creates art? Being an artist yourself, what are your thoughts on AI art?
Yeah, it's always a bit off and doesn't quite look quite right, but it's interesting. I don't know. I like the physical element of doing it yourself, and you say, "Oh, I've done this. I've created it this way." But I think it's interesting to get different ideas, and yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on that one.
Yeah. So with your art, is there any way that we can see it, find it, potentially purchase
Oh,
it?
I've got an Instagram page for Dan Cheong Artist. So CHEONG. He's kind of posting as I go. I just had my first kind of little exhibition at the local framing studio. So that was pretty cool to get my stuff out there. And like I'm only just started at home, trying to get my arm moving a bit and cause a bit of rehab.
You end up with so many paintings, you have to start doing something with them.
Yeah, I'll see what Lisa, yeah. Just nice to be doing something productive and yeah, that.
Fantastic. And one final question. If you had a magic wand and could make the digital space more accessible for you, what would you wish for?
finding that the products that are kind of integrated are starting to work for me. Like I've got the Apple MacBook Pro and the iPhone, but I'm kind of hoping voice control gets better on these kind of platform. And I'm kind of finding that stuff that's integrating together that you can use across both is helpful. Even with my head pointer, there's like downsides. I'm like accidentally clicking stuff all the time because it's picking up my facial gestures. So I'm hoping that gets resolved a bit better. I just like websites that are easy to use and clear. I've kind of got, they're just set up well so I can use the scroll and just fill out the forms easily. And I guess in terms of like navigating the websites, it's like if I can get to where I want to get to, find the information I want there easily, that's always pretty good. And then I guess stuff with apps and things like that. I like it. Like my banking app's pretty good because I can use it with like few simple functions and kind of setting money how I need to or change that pin easily. And I like how it started to integrate with the phone. So even though it takes a bit of time to take off, it's all starting to come together. It's just a bit easier. Yeah. So anything that takes away like the friction of needing a website, kind of website or app, just makes it easier. Yeah. And I'm more inclined to use it and keep using it.
So would you say that simple is always best?
Yeah, just simple and clear.
Anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I just like using technology to be able to do things everyone does, like especially stay in touch with people and communities and stuff. And like I've recently been on the Spinal Cord Injuries Victoria Facebook page, and I messaged about what other activities can I do with this type of injuries. So it's just like good to be able to access like community groups like that and friends and family and be able to do my own banking and paying the bills and do that kind of independently and uh, yeah, enjoying what I can do with my ability and it's just the technology that helps me out in that kind of way.
Okay, one more question. How different do you think your life would be if you didn't have access to all of this technology and websites and apps weren't accessible for you?
Yeah, I think it'd be hugely different because even even because I've school work there's a lot of the hours a day, even like going to bed, I've got music playing, I've got um, obviously using all that stuff I explained, being able to pay all those bills. Like I can't just write a check or that type of thing. I can't just write things like that anymore. Or can't just sign a signature as easy as I used to. So it makes a huge difference. This opens up a lot of things for me, and like I'm able to stay better connected. So I feel better mentally, and just I can see more opportunities for things I can be doing, even with this type of injury where you're pretty limited.
Really important that things are accessible. Thank you